Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this morning. Um, so I'm so glad that you could make it. Uh, Obviously, lots of crazy things going on in our world today, and despite all of that, I'm just so overwhelmed by all the acts of kindness and compassion all around us. And every day I look to those um, behaviors, those acts to lift me and inspire me to show up. So thank you for being here this morning to practice. I think it's so ironic, right? Just as when we were getting more aware, becoming more aware of our overuse of our electronic devices and computers, and bringing on a little bit more human contact, the virus happens and brings us back to using the computers and devices that much more. And thank the divine for that, right? So that we can do things like this as the next best thing to that one-on-one and group contact together. So anyways, what I've got planned for us is a vinyasa flow, one that I'll use from time to time when I don't quite have a full hour and a half to 2 hours to practice. And it'll just involve some breath work and some movement along with our breath. And along with that movement and breath, definitely bringing it inside so that we can bring that awareness, that presence, right? That's so important in dealing with the what seems to be never-ending changes that are going on in our lives right now. So, anyways, and before we start, just one last thing. I know some of us have bodies that maybe are dealing with a few injuries or whatnot. And I just want to emphasize the need to make sure to honor your body wherever it is, even if you don't have any injuries today, but you're just not feeling up for doing certain things. By all means, please don't follow the cues if it makes you feel extra uncomfortable, creates discomfort and pain. Stay away from those. All right. Always listen to and honor your beautiful temples. And, if it's appropriate, go back into a child's pose or just sit and breathe, right? There's this special connection that's going on right now between us. And I can actually I feel your vibrations. I feel your love. I feel the connection. So go there. And it's okay not to move. All right. No one can see you. All right. So let's go into child's pose, balasana. All right. So let's come down onto our hands and knees. All right. And then bring the big toes together. Take your hips back. Reach your arms straight ahead. Yeah. And then just gently let your foreheads come down onto the mat. And find your breath. For me, this particular asana brings a few things. One, it just brings some length to the spine and to the arms, and allows you, right, a gentle vehicle to begin to explore where the breath is this morning. So maybe at this point, gently pressing the lips together and drawing the inhales and the exhales through the nose. All right. Maybe find some space between your fingers and let your hands gently root with your next inhale. And as you exhale, feel the hips make their way a little bit further back, finding even more length there. And take a few more breaths straight ahead. And then as you draw your next inhale, lift your head just enough to walk your arms over to your right side. And then let your head come back down to rest. And bring an awareness now to the left side of your body, the left arm, and feel the inhale making its way from the base of your spine, right along that left rib cage, out through your left arm. And if you feel like it, take the left hand over towards the right just a little bit more. And then as you draw your next inhale, lift your head, walk your arms to center, and then make your way over to your left side, letting your head come back down to rest. And following the same process here. Last breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the head, walk the arms back to center. Take one more breath straight ahead. Beautiful. And slowly inhale your way back up to tabletop. Bring your knees together, your feet together. Make sure your toes are untucked. Then sit back on your heels. Now, if this is something that doesn't feel good, right? You can place a block, right? Or maybe a blanket right in between your lower legs, right? To increase the angle at your knees so it's not as tight of an angle there. If that's still not working, sometimes I use a bolster, which I don't have handy right now, but a bolster right in between the hamstrings and the lower leg to sit on like so. Right? If that's still not working for you, just come back to your Sukhasana, right? Which is here. All right. All right, for those of you who practice with me regularly, you know that we love to chant. And so we're going to start off with a chant. This one celebrates, and you're familiar with this again if you practice with me, this one celebrates the divine that resides in each of our hearts, right? And it also celebrates the transformation that the practice of yoga brings to us as we merge, right? That beautiful merging of the breath and the movement and the mindfulness. All right. So feel free to join in. We'll Om, chant, and then we'll finish up with an Om. So bring your hands together at your hearts. Be with your intentions. Come back to your breath. All right, let's sync that breath. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejaze Om. All right, let's move. All right, so let's come down onto our hands and knees once again. To tabletop, yeah. Check that your hands are more or less shoulder width apart, and the fingers slightly spread apart. Check your knees out. See that they're right underneath your hips, your skeletal hips. Right? Your gaze is straight down. And just take a few breaths here in this sort of neutral position. And then let's begin to follow the inhales and the exhales. So take a deep inhale here, still in neutral spine. Then as you exhale, round your back. So press the hands into your mat. Scoop in the pelvis, drawing the chin gently towards your chest. Good. As you inhale, let your bellies come down. Take your gaze forward. Open up your heart. It's the cow. Right. Follow the exhale, rounding, making your way back to cat. Inhaling back to cow. Continue to follow each exhale and inhale. And just feeling the spine opening up just a little bit more with each cycle of breaths. Then come back to center, back to that neutral position. And then let's just find some different dimension here. I'll go ahead and face forward here. So maybe start out by taking the hips from side to side. And then taking your gaze to whichever hip comes forward. Now opening up the neck as well laterally. And still breathing, right? Always breathing. And come back to center. And then make some circles. So here's where all the other parts of the bones, the body, right? All the other joints begin to play. Take a few circles in one direction. And then in the other direction. Really start to feel the body, along with the breath, beginning to warm. Good. Then when you think you've got balance between both directions, go ahead and come back to center. And just take a moment here to reconnect, right, with the earth. All right, let's pick it up just a little bit more now, but bring on awareness to your abdominal area, to your inner core. Maybe a subtle engagement there, bringing the navel to the spine. And then taking that right leg back. And then inhaling that left arm straight ahead. And just pausing here. And as you pause, send your fingertips just a little bit further forward and the sole of your right foot a little bit further back. And if you want to go on from here, play a little bit more with balance, maybe taking that left hand to the right foot, right ankle, and pressing that foot into your hand as you open up your heart just a little bit more. And then gently release, sending the arm and the leg forward and back one more time with your inhale. And then exhaling your hand and your knee back down and just resetting. Maybe flowing through a cat and cow. Reestablishing your connection with the earth below you and then taking that left leg straight back. And that right arm straight ahead. I find pointing the toes straight down with some internal rotation of that left leg helps to square the hips and bring even a little bit more length. Some folks like to point the toes, and that's fine too. Go with whatever feels right. All right, and then if you'd like, catch that foot again with the hand, pressing into the hand with the foot, and just inspiring a little bit more opening through your upper spine. And feeling that core working. Take one more breath here. And then release. Breathe the arm and the leg forward and back for one more long breath. And then slowly exhale, hand and knee coming back down. And maybe another couple of cats and cows. Beautiful. All right. Let's go ahead and make our way up onto our feet now. So go ahead and tuck the toes. All right. Take a deep inhale here. And then just patiently and gradually make your way to your downward dog. So sending those hips back. All right. Letting the legs lengthen. And playing here, right? You guys know I always love to play on these first few asanas, sort of walking your dog, taking one heel down at a time. And remember that length that we had in child's pose in balasana. Bring it here so the arms are right up overhead, aligned with your spine. And that soft gaze, maybe taking it to your feet or your ankles or your shins and just helping to let the rest of the spine, the upper spine, align as well. Right. After walking your dog a few breaths, both heels come down towards the mat even more. And I find that hovering the heels helps to bring even more length as opposed to letting the heels root, right? Where you kind of run out of room to lengthen. So if you step it back just enough to hover the heels, you might find even more lengthening there. Take one more breath here in downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Cool. Now gently walk your hands towards your feet for a forward fold or Uttanasana. Now, as you do this, bend your knees enough to give a lot of love to your lower back. In fact, bend your knees enough to let the rib cage and the belly rest on the tops of the thighs. Let your arms and your torso be heavy. And just really feel the loving lengthening going on through the lower back and the backs of the legs. Kind of feels nice to maybe cradle the elbows. Let your head be even more heavy, torso more heavy, and just sort of sway from side to side. Mm-hmm. Let those hands come back down onto the mat. Take another couple breaths. Maybe lengthening the legs just a little bit more. Beautiful. All right, bring your hands to your hips. Bend the knees a little bit. Engage your inner core, and then slowly inhale your way up to stand. Beautiful. All right, exhale your arms along the sides of the body and find Tadasana. So your feet are about inner hip width apart. Your arms are at your sides. And just take the next 3 breaths to rediscover your central axes. Right? So Jen Prue asks her students to look at the different domes within the body, all stacked nicely, one on top of the other. So maybe think of it that way as well. Another way to think of it is that central axis, right, that runs through the legs, up through the pelvis, the neutral pelvis, belly button in towards the spine, rib cage towards spine, all the way up through the top of the head. All right. Next inhale, go ahead and send your arms all the way up to the sky. And then take your right wrist. I'm going to go ahead and mirror you. Take your right wrist. Here we go. Inhale, lengthen that right arm. And then exhale over to the other side for a nice side stretch. Yeah, rooting both feet into the earth. And feeling that lengthening going on once again. And then inhale back up the center, switching the hands and the wrists. Inhaling length through that left side, and then exhaling over to the right. Feel free to play with the gaze. One more breath here. And then inhale straight up. Nice. All right, release the wrist and hand. And go ahead and hook your thumbs like this. All right, find some length once again, straight up and down. Leave your hips where they are. And then inhale, find length, right? Earth and sky at the same time. And then show your sternum to the sky, right? Without creating any compression to this lower back. So we want to open up the thoracic part of the spine, the upper part of the spine here. So take about 3 breaths. Feel that opening up. Beautiful. Inhale, straight up. Release your thumbs. And we'll exhale another Uttanasana. So coming all the way over for another forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to come down. Good. Now, as you inhale, take your hands to your shins, reach your hearts. So the hips stay back, hearts reach straight ahead, nice horizontal spine. Good. Exhale, come back over into a fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Beautiful. All right, check your feet out. Bring them a little bit closer together. Okay. Then bend your knees a lot. All right, so that your gaze is now looking fairly straight ahead. And then with your next inhale, breathe the arms forward and up just enough to align, right? Align with your spine for Utkatasana. Some call this chair pose, fierce pose. Let it be what you wish it to be. Okay? Take a few more breaths here. Now, as you breathe, create more length once again. Maybe bring the pinkies together and the thumbs out, right? To find some more length here through the lats and the serratus anterior, right? That upper part of the front side of the body. And as you do that, let the hips come down just a little bit more. So feel more length. So you're coming down to find that stool behind you, and at the same time, touch the sky with that diagonal line. Take 1 more breath there. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way up. Maybe a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, another forward fold all the way over. Nice. Inhale, reach your heart. Exhale, fold. Beautiful. Let's walk the hands now to the top of the mat. We're going to come into a high plank. Right. So check in with that central axis once again, only now it's more or less horizontal. In some cases, if you got long arms, it's a little diagonal. But start with the upper body here. Feel the hands rooting deeper and the shoulders protracting. Come back to your belly. Feel that belly button coming up into the sky. Yeah, and those heels more or less right up over the balls of the feet. Taking 3 more breaths. Awesome. Now, exhale the knees down, chest and chin down. Yeah. And then come through the arms onto your bellies, untucking the toes. So send those toes towards the back wall. Feel the tops of your feet rooting. Check that your hands are right underneath the shoulders. Right? Then inhale, send the top of your head forward, then slowly peel just a little bit of the upper body up off of the mat for a cobra. And then exhale your hearts back down. So finding a lot of length, not so caught up in the rise, but rather the lengthening. Another one. Good. Exhale. We'll inhale 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Bring your big toes together. Press your hands into your mat. Slowly make your way back to child's pose. Once again, let's take 3 breaths here. Cool. All right, let's come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog. All right, let's play a little bit more focus, or apply a little bit more focus on the hips now. We're going to go with some lunges and into a beautiful pose we call Vinyasa. So inhale the right leg back to an extended dog. Find that nice long line once again through the arms, through the spine, through the right leg. Take your gaze right in between your hands. And then as you exhale, draw your knee up in towards your nose. And then step or float that right foot forward, right in between the hands. Come up onto your fingertips. And then exhale your left knee down. You can keep your toes tucked or untucked. Walk your hands to the top of that right knee and find that nice vertical spine. Yeah. And you can stay here, right? Enjoy the lengthening through that hip flexor, the opening up the heart, broadening the shoulders, or take it a step further to Anjaneyasana and take the arms up to the sky. And then play here, right? Bringing a little bit more length through that hip flexor by coming forward just a little bit more. But again, always listening to your lower back, making sure there's no compression going on there. And still breathing. Yeah, one last breath here. Beautiful. Exhale, take the hands all the way down. Right, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. Send that right leg back to your high plank. And from here, you can flow through a vinyasa. So either knees, chest, chin, right, to cobra. So it looks something like this. And then back to downward dog, or moving on to your chaturanga dandasana as an upward dog. So exhale, inhale, and exhale. All right, so we're all back in dog, taking 3 breaths. And then go into our left side. All right, so take that left leg back once again, finding that nice long line, giving it a pause here, being so grateful for this practice of ours. Moving meditation. And then as you exhale, draw that left knee into your nose and bringing that left foot forward. Coming onto your fingertips, maybe taking that right foot back just a little bit, and then exhaling the right knee down. Doing as you wish with the right foot, and bringing those hands up to that left knee. And once again, staying here to enjoy the lunge or taking the arms up for some Anjaneyasana. Yeah, one more breath here. Beautiful. Exhale, take the hands all the way down. Tuck your right toes. Lift your right knee. Yep. Send your left leg back. Inhale. And then flow through your vinyasas. Exhaling knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. Inhaling to cobra or upward dog. And exhaling downward dog. All right, 3 more breaths here. We've got time for just one more set of some standing poses here. We'll go through some warrior 2. All right. So inhale the right leg back, extended dog. Good. Exhale, right foot comes forward in between the hands. Now your back foot pivots. You want to align your heels, right? Heel to heel, or heel to that back arch. All right. Now press, root into those legs, and then inhale, bring that left arm up and back. And find your warrior 2s. Yep, so the arms more or less horizontal. Again, you know what? There's so much room to play. Go with whatever feels right. You've got the arms up here, but make sure you're finding length and openness. All right, the legs, right? Inspiring the openness of the hips here, and that knee more or less hovering right over that right ankle. All right, let's breathe to reverse warrior. Taking that right arm up to the sky, letting that left hand come down the left leg. Maybe opening it up a little bit more. Beautiful. One last breath here. Really feel that right side opening up. And then exhaling to an extended side angle, Kaparsvakonasana. So the right elbow comes down to the right knee, left arm, finding the line of the left leg. Now from here, for those of you who've got a little bit more experience with your practice, a little further along, if you want to take it to a half bind, right, or a full bind, feel free to play there. All right. All perfect vehicles for the breath. Maybe they're just 2 more breaths. Nice. Now inhale, let's come back up to warrior 2. Straighten the right leg. Pivot the right foot. All right, so these wake up the shoulders a little bit more. We're gonna go with some Garudasana arms, all right? Obviously, if you've got any shoulder issues going on, you may wanna stay away from this. Maybe go with just a gentle hands to the shoulders kind of a thing here, all right? So here we go. Let's take the right elbow on top of the left and interlace. So we're wrapping those arms around, okay? Inhale, lift your sternum and the arms up just a little bit further up to the sky. And then exhale, come over for a fold. So the spine is long, yeah. Feet are rooted. Take 3 breaths here. Cool, next inhale, we're coming all the way up. So still honoring the long spine, rooted feet. And exhale. All right, let's go to the other side, stacking the left arm on top of the right, wrapping them around each other once again, either on the backs of the hands facing or the palms of the hands facing. Lift those elbows up about the same level as the shoulders, open up your hearts, and then exhale, coming over for a fold. Beautiful, another 3 breaths here. Again, legs are still vertical, hips are back, and the arms, the heart coming forward just a little bit more. Beautiful. Inhale, coming all the way back up. And exhale, untangle the arms. Inhale and back up to the sky. And exhale, halfway down. All right, we're ready for our second side of warrior 2. So pivot that left foot. Yep, so the foot's pointing straight ahead. Knees aligning with the toes as you bend that left knee. All right, that right arch is lifted, helping to inspire the rooting through that right foot. And that spine, more or less vertical, yeah. Taking the gaze beyond the left fingertips. Spending a few more breaths here. And then inhaling to a reverse warrior. So that left arm coming up. Start there first, bring some length. Relax that right hand on your right leg, and then maybe taking that left arm back just a little bit more. Don't forget to keep honoring the warrior 2, the warrior 2 foundation. Beautiful. All right, onto extended side angle. Finding that beautiful line once again through the right side, opening up your heart. And again, invitation there for the next 4 breaths to find a half bind, full bind, or just continue to stay here. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and release the bind if you've got it. Inhale your way back up to warrior 2. Lengthen your left leg. Beautiful. Inhale the arms all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, come all the way over. Bend your knees a little bit. And then walk your hands to the top of your mat. Yep. Place your hands on each side of that right foot. Take the right leg all the way back. And flow through one more vinyasa. Okay. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling back to your downward dog. All right. Take 3 more breaths here. Cool. Inhale onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees and come forward to a seated pose. Very good. All right. So let's go ahead and take it now to a few more poses before we wrap up. So let's go ahead and get, we've got to do some boat pose, right? Always a part of the practice. So let's take our hands to the backs of our knees. Yeah. And draw your knees more or less horizontal, right? Now, as you continue to support your legs, focus on opening up your chest, your collarbone area. Right? If those lower backs are healthy, we're sending those arms straight ahead. Nice. And if they're extra healthy, we're taking those legs forward and breathing and coming back to the celebration. Yeah. Celebration of life, celebration of breath, celebration of the divine, and the start of a new day, a clean slate, right? More adventure. Right, last couple of breaths from wherever you are. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. Give yourselves a hug. Let the soles of the feet come down. Yeah. Read your hands down. Go ahead and lengthen your legs. Sit nice and tall. Send your arms straight ahead. Beautiful. Now, rooting those legs, pointing the toes. Again, if you have any lower, over onto your side from, let's say, here. And just kind of coming over to your side like this, and then letting yourself come down gently. Otherwise, you're taking one vertebra, one disc at a time. Slowly coming down. Following that extra long exhale. Eventually the scapula coming down. The arms and the base of the spine come down. Always make sure you cleared your runway of any props. Beautiful. All right, just pause here, right? Just let the spine neutralize. Come into that mountain pose position, only now on your back. And then go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. Give yourselves a hug. And take your arms out wide. We'll do one final twist here. Exhaling the legs over to your right side. And enjoying the space there through the left side. Take your gaze off to the left. And exhale over to the other side. Gaze enough to the right now. And feeling the breath lengthening, bringing more ease, more space, more presence. Then inhale, come back to center. Bend your knees even more. Take your hands to the shins, the ankles, or the outer edges of the feet, and then gently guide those feet towards the earth, the knees towards the earth. So you open up your hips gently. Again, no force, just exhaling, right, to find a little bit more space there. Feel free to rock it a little bit from side to side. Beautiful. Come back to center. Let both of the bottoms of the feet come together. And then exhale the edges of the feet down onto the mat for a gentle Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your hands rest on your belly. And begin to find even more and more ease, more surrender through the body as you continue with your mindful inhales and exhales. And then we move on to Savasana. Right? If you're happy here in this posture and you want to do complete surrender here, then feel free to. Otherwise, you can move to your classical Savasana by lengthening your legs, finding a little space in between the legs, the arms, a little space between the arm, each arm and the body. Take the soft gaze straight up to the sky to find a neutral position there through the neck. And close your eyes. And let go of everything without any force, right? That applies more so to all the thoughts in your head, because sometimes actually they're pretty much there all the time. But instead of trying to force them out of your head, just let them be there. See them come and go without getting attached to any one thought. So not only are we resting the body in the physical sense, but we're also resting the mind, letting the mind quiet, and knowing that we can always come back to the breath, watching the breath when we get caught up in things around us. Speaking of breath, let go of that as well. And just watch it as it naturally occurs. Body's getting heavier. Earth's embrace warmer and warmer. More and more love. Unconditional love. So let yourselves be. I'll call you back when we're ready to return. And start coming back to our conscious breath first. Bringing a bit more length to each inhale, each exhale. Start checking in with your fingers and your toes. A little movement there. Slowly bring more movement to other parts of the body. Gently bring your knees back up in towards your chest for another gentle hug. Roll over onto your right side, taking your right arm up above you and just rolling over, letting your head rest on your shoulder, your arm, and just pause there for a few breaths in your fetal position. Coming back to your intentions and just enjoying the fruits of your practice as you slowly make your way back. And using your left hand, make your way up to a seated pose. And with the eyes still closed and the hands resting on the tops of the legs, just pause here. Still with your breath. Bring our hands together at our hearts. And we'll close with another chant that's probably familiar to most of you. Again, all about bringing joy and freedom from suffering to all sentient beings, all beautiful living creatures. All right, so feel free to join in. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste.